So, in the last class, we were discussing about the ER models. Okay. So, in ER model, we were discuss about the entity and relationship, attribute, type of attributes, key, type of key. Okay. All these things we have discussed. We have discussed the relationship. In the relationship, we have discussed the cardinality ratio. Okay. The representation of these representation of ER diagrams, different entities, relationship, and attribute, types of attribute. All these things we have discussed. In last class, we discussed cardinality ratio. The cardinality ratio in the relationship, it shows the how many entities are from left hand side to right hand side are participating in that relationship. Okay, as we have discussed one example, this example, employee and department. Employee works for department. It's ns to one relationship. An employee can work for one department. Okay. Then we have discussed the participation constraints. Participant constraints means if entities are participating in a relationship and one entity is participating in that relationship for its existence, means if the entity is not participate in that relationship, it does not exist. Like we have discussed, department handles project, and project is the type of entity which, if it not participate in this relationship handles, it does not exist. Okay. Means if no any department is handling any project, the project does not exist. Okay. Until ultimately the existence of project, it must be participate. So this kind of participation constraints, and we represent this participation constraints by double line. Two lines. The project is participating in this relation for existence, so we will draw two lines here. Okay. The next we have discussed about the attribute of a relationship. There is some attribute. It is not we cannot assign to any entity. So that attribute we will assign to an relationship. Like budget. Budget we cannot assign to department or project. It must be an attribute of relationship. Okay. Then we have discussed about the identifying relationship. There is an entity type which is weak, like insurance record. Weak entity are the entities who does not any key attribute. Okay. So insurance record are that entities which is weak, and when weak entities is participating in relationship, that relationship is called the identifying relationship. This relationship giving the identity to this entity. Okay. Now you can see this is the one relation. Employee has insurance record. Okay. This insurance record does not any key, but employee has a strong entity, or it has the attribute PAN as a key. So now this using this PAN number or the PAN attribute, we can identifying this insurance record. Okay. So ultimately this relationship is identifying this insurance record entity. Okay, this will be depicted by, if you remember, two times diamond or double line diamond. If you have any doubt till this point, you can ask. In today's class, we will discuss about the extended ER diagram or enhanced ER diagram. Okay. So for this, we have in the last class we also discussed about the subclassing or subclass and superclass. One minute. Subclassing, when we have two entities, like take the example as entity A and entity B, and when an entity B, uh, or we can say an entity class B is said to be subclass of another entity class A if these entities share is a relationship. When we have two entity type A and B, and the in this two entity there is a relationship is there. So when the left hand side entity type B is a setting is a relationship with entity type A. So when this relationship, the entity B is said to be subclass and entity A is a superclass. Let me draw. We have the two entity type B. And these two entities, these two entities sharing a relationship is these two entity A and B, and the relationship between these two entities is A. So this relationship, the entity type B is said to be subclass of entity class A, and the A entity is said to be a superclass. This A is called superclass. Okay, is it clear? So you can say as entity A is a superclass and B is a subclass, or let's take generalized example like we have an entity type vehicle. We have an entity vehicle, and its share is a relationship with some vehicle like car. Car and vehicle both are the entity type, and these entity is sharing is a relationship. So car is a vehicle. Car is a vehicle. So car you can say is a subclass, and vehicle is a superclass. Or you can say car is a specialized entity, and vehicle is a generalized entity. Okay, is it clear? So car is the vehicle. So when this kind of relationship we have in our ER diagram, so it's called a specialized class, and vehicle is a generalized class, or we can say is a subclass, and vehicle is a superclass of this relationship. Is it clear? Like car is a vehicle, or monkey is a primate. Monkey and primate are two entities, and sharing the relationship is a. So monkey, when we write it left hand side, the entity is called the subclass. Monkey is a subclass and primate is a superclass. And same way, primate is an animal. Now primate is a subclass of animal superclass. Okay, primate is a now subclass with respect to animal entity type. Okay, or you can say monkey is a specialized class of primate, and primate is a specialized class of animal. In the same way, manager is an employee. Manager, employees is very general entity type, and sorry, employee is a general class, and manager is a specialized class. Okay, so an entity of class B is said to be specialization of an entity class A. Okay, and if we talk about the reverse converse, we can say A is a generalized class and B is a specialized class. Okay, and now here B is inheriting all the properties of entity type A. Okay, B is inheriting all the properties of A. Means what are the property of A? All the property will be share, like car and vehicle. What are the vehicle property? What are the vehicle property? All the property must A will inherit. Like what are the vehicle property? It has some wheels, some control mechanism, some driving seat. All these are the property of vehicle. So all these property car will inherit. Means all the same property car will have as well. Okay. An entity, look at this point, an entity cannot exist in database that merely belong to subclass. It has to belong to superclass as well. Suppose in your database you are creating this kind of relationship, subclass and superclass, and what the entities are present in a superclass is must be available in subclass as well. Okay, if we have created database in such a way, there's a subclass and superclasses. What the entity available or present in a superclass is must be available in a subclass as well. Okay, and the second 1 minute, somebody's waiting. And the second point is subclasses undergoes type inheritance. I already mentioned this. What are the attribute of superclass? Yes, superclass. All the attribute will be inherited by the subclass as well. Means what are the attribute you defined for the class A? All these attribute will be inherited by class B as well. Okay, means what are the attribute you define for the vehicle? All these attribute all these attribute will car has as well. Are you getting my point? जब भी आप कोई एंटिटी के बीच में इस टाइप का रिलेशन बनाते हैं, इज द रिलेशनशिप मीन्स सब क्लासिंग या सुपर क्लासिंग, तो जो भी सुपर क्लास के आपके एट्रीब्यूट्स होंगे वो सारे एट्रीब्यूट्स आपके सब क्लास के भी होने चाहिए. ठीक है, जैसे आपकी सुपर क्लास व्हीकल है, आपकी सब क्लास कार है, आपके व्हीकल के जो भी एट्रीब्यूट आपने डिफाइन किए वो सारे एट्रीब्यूट कार के भी होने चाहिए. इज इट क्लियर? एंड द सेकेंड पॉइंट सेज दैट when your super class is participating in any relationship, if your superclass is participating in any relationship, then must be all subclasses participating in that relationship, means able to participate in that relationship. Is it clear? Means suppose you have defined the relationship vehicle. Vehicle we used for uh, moving from one place to another place. Means it is using for some purpose, for carrying any luggage or goods something kind. So that subclasses will be created, car or truck or buses, all that must be uses for that same purpose as well. Okay, means if your vehicle superclass is participating in any relationship like uses for some purposes, the same must be used for this subclasses as well. Okay, you cannot say superclass is participating in the relationship, but the subclass is not able to participating in that relationship. Okay, what I want to say here again is, when we have created a class A, and in this class created some subclasses, like three subclasses we have created out of this one superclass. Okay, like XYZ. When these superclass is participating in this relationship with some other attribute, P, and the relationship name is R. Means this A attribute, A entity is a superclass of this XYZ attribute, XYZ entity, and it's participating in this relation R. So that when A is participating in this relation R, then XYZ must be able to participate in this relation R. If it is not possible, then it is not a superclass or subclass relationship. Okay. This is the depiction or representation of your subclassing and superclassing. By this symbol, you can see as U. Subclassing and superclassing. So manager is employee. Okay. The depiction is like that. When this U symbol is curving, means at this end, it's showing the specialization, and when it's open end is called the generalized class. Okay, so employee is a generalized class and manager is a specialized class. Okay, so in this relationship, it's showing its depiction. Okay, and the second thing, employee superclass has one attribute, PAN number, and PAN number is a key attribute. Key attribute we represent by the underline. Okay, when any attribute, if we write and under this we draw a underline, it shows the key attribute. PAN is a key attribute of this employee relationship. In the same way, if you define the key for superclass, the same key will be retained by subclasses as well. Means using this key attribute, you can uniquely identify as manager as well. Okay, you are uniquely identify employee by this representation, but by the same way you can by this PAN number you can uniquely identify your manager as well. Okay, and second thing, PAN is a key of employee. Okay, but there is a chance, there is a possibility manager has its own key as well. You can define a key for manager as well. Okay, like manager ID, you can define another key for manager as well. Now this manager is a key for manager. MID is a key for manager. Now this manager ID is not a key for employee. This employee EMID will not retained by the employee, but PAN number will be retained by manager. Are you getting my point? What I want to say here, when employee has a some key, it will retain by your subclass or manager. But when subclasses some define its own key, it will not be retained or retained by its superclass. Okay, means the MID will not inherit by employee, but PAN number will inherit by manager. Specialization and generalization. Specialization is the process of creating subclass. Specialization is the process of creating subclasses out of a given entity type. Okay. When we have an entity, we, when we have one entity, and out of this one entity, when we create subclasses of this entity, is called the specialization. Like we have one entity type vehicle. Suppose we have one entity type vehicle, and out of this one entity type vehicle, we are creating its subclasses like car, bus, truck, motorcycle, motorbike. All these are the subclasses of vehicle. So now when we creating subclasses out of this one superclass is called a specialization. Understood? Specialization means when we have an entity type, and out of this entity type we have creating subclasses. That's why it said. Okay, like A is a vehicle entity, and out of this vehicle entity we are creating subclasses like car is car, bus, truck. So this process is called a specialization. Okay, and generalization is the reverse process. Generalization is just reverse process of spaces. We have some entities, and out of this entity, if we possible to club them into a single entity, is called generalization. Like we have in three entity. Just say, take the same example XYZ, and if it is possible to club them into any single entity, is called generalization. Means generalization is just reverse process of a specialization. Like when we visit any company and we are trying to make any ER model for that company, and they says we use car, we use buses, we use motorbike and van. So ultimately we find these are the entity using by company, and and then we able to find any generalized class like vehicle. We have created vehicle as an entity. So this is called the process of generalization. So generalization is the reverse process of taking two or more entity type and clubbing them under a common superclass. Okay. Like you can see this example. There is a one entity type secretary, and when another entity type manager, and all these entities has its own attribute: PAN number, salary and skills, PAN number, salary and expertise, experience. Okay, can it is possible to club them, these two entity into a single entity type? Okay, here you can see we club this secretary and manager into a single entity type, employee. So employee is a generalized entity type, and its attribute are PAN number and salary, and these are the secretary, and its specialized attribute is a skills, and manager is a specialized attribute as a experience. Okay, so this process is called a generalized process. We have took two entity type and club them into one entity type, employee. Is it clear? Is it clear? If it is clear, and you can unmute your mic and speak, or even you can write in chat box.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Predicate defined subclasses is the same as generalized. Means in this predicate defined means we are defining the way on which we have created subclasses. Okay, or clubbing two subclasses into a superclass means we are defining on what the way we have clubbing or separating. Okay, like here secretary and professor are the two subclasses of employee, and we have separate these two subclasses based on job type. Secretary is its own job type and professor is its own job type. Means based on job type we have separate these two entity type. Okay, so when we define the predicate, it's a predicate defined subclasses. Okay, so employee is generalized class. Its pay number and salary are the attributes, and based on job type, we have created two subclasses: secretary and professor. And secretary has the admin job, and professor has the academic job. And secretary its own attribute is skills, and the professor has a experience as an attribute. Okay. Now the second is disjoint and overlapping subclasses. When we creating subclasses and superclasses, it may be some disjoint subclasses or overlap subclasses. Okay, if it is disjoint, you can see here, right? D, it is not properly visible, but it's right. D means these two are the two disjoint subclasses. Means no secretary is professor and no professor is a secretary. It's completely disjoint subclasses. Okay. When these subclasses are overlapped, means one like see this example, employee, and out of this employee we have created two subclasses, professor and chair professor. Okay, but there is a chance of overlapping. There is a chair professor maybe work as a professor. Okay, means there's an entity type may be overlap, means one entity is present into another entity, can be part of another entity as well. In context to subclasses, it's called the overlapping subclasses. We write here O. We write, you can see here it's O. When we write O, means it's showing its overlapping subclasses. When we write D, it shows disjoint subclasses. The next is higher order relationship. When we discuss about the relationship, you remember the degree of relationship. Degree of relationship shows how many entity type are participating in that relation. When in that relation two entity type are participating, it's called the binary relationship. When there are the three entity type are participating in the relationship, it's called the ternary relationship. When there is only one entity participating in that relationship, it's called a unary relationship. And when more than 2, 3 it's called the n-ary relationship. Means n number of entities are participating in that relationship. So higher order relationship when the entity type is more than two entity type are participating in that relationship. Okay, like we have shown an example: supplier, part, and project. There is some supplier entity type, and there's some use part, and there on some projects. Okay, so this relationship, supplier supplies part for particular project. Okay, here there's a three entities participating in this relationship. It's called a ternary relationship or higher order relationship. Can you write any cardinality ratio for this relationship? And what is the what are the cardinality ratio for this relationship? Unmute your mic and speak, please. Please speak. What is the cardinality of this relationship? Cardinality, if you remember, cardinality means a number of entities participating in that relationship. Here, supply is a relationship. How many supplier is participating? How many parts is participating? How many projects are participating? We have to just mention here. Okay, so what should be the cardinality ratio for this relationship? Nobody knows. Okay, so you can see here there is a supplier. There's a chance be n supplier. Maybe there is an n supplier. N supplier maybe supply M part to P project. There is no restriction. Again, just try to understand this relationship first. This supply relationship, and there is a project which uses some part, and this part is supplied by many supplier. So any project, just consider it's required P number of n number of parts, and that parts different. There is a different parts, so there is no restriction. There is no only one or two. There is an n number of parts are required by any project. Or the same part, the parts are not supplied by only one supplier. There is no n number of suppliers is possible. So there is no restriction. So you can write any number M and P. You can give any number A, B, C, and Y, Z, whatever. Okay. So this we can say this is the n tends to M to n to P cardinality ratio of this relationship. Is it clear? Is it clear? I'm audible? Am I audible? Okay. The next concept is aggregation. If you think about generalization and specialization is nothing but a abstraction. We are abstracting our entity type into a relationship is there. Ultimately, our generalization and specialization is abstraction. We are abstracting our relationship or entity into a single unit. Okay. Aggregation is also one kind of aggregation, one kind of abstraction. We are abstracting the part of ER diagram into a single entity, or we can say we are aggregating a relationship into a single entity. I think I'm not clear to you. What I want to say here is aggregation is kind of abstraction. मीन्स हमारा जो ER डायग्राम है उसमें सम रिलेशनशिप है टू एंटिटीज या वन एंटिटीज के बीच में, हम उसको एग्रीगेट कर रहे हैं एक सिंगल एंटिटी में. मीन्स वी आर जस्ट शोइंग इट्स अ वन एंटिटी टाइप एंड इट्स दिस एंटिटी टाइप इज पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन द relationship and other relationship. Again, I'm confusing to you. You can see the example on your screen. There is one relationship offers. This offer relationship is a ternary relationship. Ternary relationship means there's a three entity type are participating. Instructor offers some course in particular semester. This relationship, try to understand this offer relationship. This offer relationship has three entity type. Instructor is instructing into a particular course in particular semester. Okay, like take this course DBMS. I'm instructor instructing this course DBMS in semester 4th. Okay, so this is combinedly if we combine this relationship can be combine this relationship into a single entity, or we can depict this relationship into as an entity type. Like here, the complete relationship what we discussed, we are showing it's a one entity, and we have given the name we have given the name is offering. The complete relationship instructor offers his courses in particular semester, we are representing into a single unit as one entity, and we have given the name is offering. Now you can consider, or you can say this is complete. This is one entity, and this entity is now this entity can participate in other relation, or you can say this is one entity and it we will so this is one entity, and now we can use this entity as a other entity type. Okay, means we are covering up the whole thing into a single unit, or abstract the whole relation we have been abstracted into a single entity. Okay, now this entity is participating in any this relation requires this means before you understood this example, let's take an example employee. Just forget what I speak. Let's take one employee. Employee is entity type. I'm taking this example because I've not mentioned this unary relationship till this point. So employee, manage, or supervised, manage. Just type manage. Employee. Okay. So one employee is managing employees. Means there's this is a manage is a unary relationship. Means there is only one entity is participating in this relationship. Manages means employee manages employee. Ultimately, who is your boss is also employee. Okay. So this is a unary relationship. Manages employee manages employee. Okay, unary. So now you try to understand this example. This is one entity type is offering, and it's requires a relationship, unary relationship. It's required this entity means what are the course we are going to teach in the next semester is required this course. Means what is a prerequisite of for this course. Means when we studied any course, there is a prerequisite. Means before we have to study this course, you have to knowledge about the course. Okay, so suppose you are studying this DBMS. It's the DBMS is prerequisite for some other course which is in semester 5th or 7th or 8th or 9th. Okay, any other semester. Means this course is prerequisite for some other course. Means this entity is requires some other entity. Okay, if it's not clear, let me take aggregation in ER diagram. see. Okay, this is the good example. You can see let's see this example here. Employee works for project. Employee works for project, and it's a name and ID, and project has some project number. And this the employee and works will cover up into a single unit. Now we're showing this is one entity. This is one entity. Employee works for project, means this project, on this project there is some employees working, and it uses some machineries. So now this is one entity, and this is the uses the relationship, and machinery is one another entity. Means there is a two entity, machineries and employees. The relationship, sorry, machinery as an E is an entity, and there's one relationship uses. This E entity uses machinery. Okay. Again, let's more clarify. Suppose this is an employee, or it's maybe programmer, and this is a one project, and this programmer is use different skills, work on different programming languages, and this project is work on n number of programming languages. So which employer using which programming language for which project, it uses which kind of machineries, means you can consider as a tool, which tool uses. So this kind of relationship you can shows by the aggregation concept. Aggregation is nothing but we are abstracting our one relationship into a single unit of entity type, or it shows a containment. This entity contain this relationship. This entity is contained, this relationship works. Okay. If it is clear, is it clear? Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, please write the attendance in chat. Write C for cat. So we have completed our ER diagram. What are the entity, relationship, attribute, keys, specialization, generalization, aggregation, higher order relationship, participation constraints, and identifying relationship. All these things we have discussed. Based on these concept, you can draw any ER diagram now. Okay. So in the next class, we will discuss about the other concepts. Okay. Thank you.